Okay, let's see if this this works. Just the camera. Hi, this is Gert. Welcome at this special Friday Ask Me Anything. It's so great to be here again. So great to receive questions. I've just come off a call that resulted in another question I'm going to answer afterwards at the end. My name is Gert Mellak. I'm from SEOleverage.com. We do these calls every Friday, except for next Friday, where we will push a few pieces of advice, not live, but on our Facebook page. So make sure you follow us at SEO Leverage in Facebook as well. Today, we're going to talk about search statistics, site speed, SEO for startups, and also about how to grow a business. These calls are done every Friday, 10 a.m. Central European Time, 8 p.m. in Sydney. So make a note. Every Friday, except the next one, are going to be live sessions. We afterwards also push those videos to YouTube. So if you cannot make it to the Friday session, but you're still interested in learning about online business, about SEO, about e-commerce, about conversion, etc., take a look at our YouTube channel and search for SEO Leverage, and you find all the videos and all the answers to the questions we answer here. If you want to get onto our mailing list, and especially if you want to get an ebook about top 10 tips for improving your SEO, take a look at seoleverage.com/top 10 tips as put here on the slide on Facebook. You can see it and grab the tips. Whenever you have a questions, ask our support team. We collect all these questions and then answer them in the next Ask Me Anything session. Let's jump into the first question directly. How many people click on my search results? That's an interesting one because it's related to a free tool probably hardly anybody is using or really considering for their website optimization, and it's Google Search Console. So if you don't know what it is, type in Google Search Console in Google and you're going to find a lot of information, but you also a quick way to add your website to the get access to your website's Google Search Console. And this is where you find under a performance section all the data that's related to how your website comes up in search, for which queries you come up at which positions, and what's very important, how often people click on your search result and what's the click-through rate. So the click-through rate means if you come up 100 times and one person clicks on your result, it's a 1% click-through rate. So this is something we take into account, especially in our SEO audits, because it can tell you whether your results, the way you phrase them, the way you try to convince people that your search result is the best, is working for you. So you might have a 0.3% click-through rate or a 15% click-through rate, and the difference very often only lies in the text you present to searchers and potential visitors to your site. So if you want to know how many people click on your search result, get your access to Google Search Console. It's a free tool Google provides. And under the Performance tab, you can select a time span and we'll see how many people have clicked on your results, and also divided up by which URL was clicked, which query did they search for, and what's the click-through rate, so you know what to optimize here. The next question is, how can I speed up my site? That's an interesting one and very important one, because site speed is a ranking factor, especially if your competitors have faster sites. Nobody wants to wait for a few seconds until a page has been loaded. Everybody wants to have the fastest and best user experience possible. There are new technologies coming into the space, like the headless websites, for example, where speed is probably brought to a maximum. How can you speed up your site? An average site can benefit greatly by, it's probably two things. One is a caching plugin. If you use WordPress, like most of the sites do, there are plugins like WP Rocket or WP Super Cache. And what they essentially do is they grab all the content from the database, which usually takes a little bit of time. They prepare it in a so-called cache or a temporary memory. and then deliver it directly to the page. So instead of people coming to your website and then waiting for the server to respond and grab the information and put it back to them, the server already has it ready, has it prepared in this cache, and can deliver it faster. So this is a quick win for a lot of sites. Another quick win is to take a very close look at images on your site. So chances are the images are bigger than they need to be. There are free websites where you can upload images and download a compressed version of them, like tinypng.com, tinyjpg.com, etc. Compress.io, I think, was another one. You can certainly make sure your images are as small as possible. Don't reduce their size just within WordPress. Make sure you use the appropriate size. So the browser doesn't have to load a big image and do the downsizing if possible. So there is definitely some things you can do about this. In order to speed up the site, also take a look at its length, because long articles sometimes rank very well, but long articles require you to add a lot of media, a lot of images, a lot of embedded stuff to make it easier and better to read. But this can take quite a while. So I would say first check out who is ranking before your site and see if speed is an issue, if they are faster. If they're faster, you definitely need to match their speed. Second is check out if you have a caching plugin, check out if it's activated. We sometimes see plugins that are installed but not activated or configured properly. And then take a look at the images. These are the big wins. Afterwards, there are other things you can do, but that might require a programmer to help you optimize the theme you have installed on your content management system and do some optimizations there. And also what also works sometimes is to revise if you really need all those plugins you have installed on your installation, and if you need them on all pages. So I've seen pages where they had a slider plugin installed, for example, that was only used on the homepage, but the code at the back end was loaded on every single page. So even on a blog post that did not have a slider, the slider plugin was loaded, and this took time, especially when you have like 20 or 30 plugins installed on your WordPress site. It's going to slow down the user experience, slow down the server when preparing the HTML code that then gets sent to the browser. So that's definitely also an issue. Revise your plugins. The next question is, what is your best SEO advice? So if there was only one, there's probably quite a few of them. If there is only one, it would be to use Google to see what Google wants to rank. So what happens to us every single day is that people ask us why they don't rank or why they don't rank higher for a certain term, but they do not take into account what it is what Google wants to rank. And this changes over time. So you might have a site that had been ranking well a few months back and then dropped in rankings, and now it doesn't rank well anymore. And this is very often because the site forgot to adjust to changing user expectations. So the user expectation 2 years ago might have been a very big slider on top, a very long article, and 2 images. And the user experience today in your niche may be the answer right at the top, and then further information down the bottom, and then a frequently asked questions section. So you need to make sure that your site matches what Google wants to show at a given moment from a content perspective. Then there are other influential factors, but at least if there is just one advice, I would start with Google. And before creating the content to get the ranking and traffic, I would ask Google really what it is, what they want to rank for a certain keyword, and then first match what's ranking there right now, and then make it better. The next question is, should I consider SEO for my startup? That's an important and a great question, because it also comes up in every single startup marketing department, or the person, usually it's one person in the startup responsible for marketing, that might consider SEO. My advice here is validate your service and your product first, so you know what's your website's conversion, how much traffic do you need to make a sale, how long it takes to make this sale, and then try to complement your paid advertising with you use for the validation with SEO. So this in practice, I've just come off a call uh, with an agency focusing on web design, and they want to rank for web design plus their city. And it's a small agency. They just started out, and the advice I gave them was to start a Google Ads campaign, try to promote long tail queries, not directly web design, but maybe web design for car dealerships plus their city, for example, and just really track what happens when people searching for those things come to their website, how many of those convert into proposal requests or call requests. And then once they get a number of call requests in the conversion, they can find out how many requests they need to make a sale. And then taking into account the customer lifetime value of a web design client, they can then figure out what's the value of getting those people onto the site. And once you have these metrics, you can then start adding more channels to it and see what happens if can I afford to spend 6 months, 8 months effort in SEO, and what budget would I have in order to get my Google Ads budget down and get more clients from the organic channel. So definitely, if you have a startup, validate your idea first, validate with Google Ads, which is going to be faster, and you're going to avoid wasting money on SEO for terms that might never convert into sales. And once you have this information from your Google Ads account, you can then go on and do some SEO work. The next question is how to grow a business. That's what we all want, right? We want to have created a business with all those emotions, all those a little bit of fear, so much joy. We don't care about the hours we spend, but we want to grow the business. How to grow one? You need to it's very simple but not easy. You need to find more people who want to purchase what you're selling, or better, the other way around. Find what people are buying and then sell it, and then find more of those people. That's the simple way of growing a business. Growing a business also is very related to trust. So if someone doesn't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. This is whenever you're on a website you haven't seen before purchasing anything, you're going to look for the about page, for a contact page, going to look for a phone number in case something happens, etc. In order to get this trust, you need to provide example results you were getting. You need to provide other companies' testimonials. You need to make sure other authorities in your space are backing you. All those things can help you quite a bit to grow a business. But if you're selling something where you don't know yet who is going to buy it, it's going to be a tough ride. So ideally, even if it's not exactly what you want to sell at some point, but find something in your niche that's being bought and try to sell it, get it sold, get your brand known a little bit, and then broaden up a bit. If you're starting out and you want to grow, you need buyers, you need cash flow. You need to make sure that there are enough people willing to purchase, not only sign up for a newsletter, not only sign up for anything or consume your content. You need people willing to pull out their wallet, enter their credit card number, and purchase what you are selling. Otherwise, you're never going to grow a business. Many people start out by selling something they really like, they really enjoy, but they don't find any clients. And if you don't find any clients, you don't have a business. So definitely find the things people are purchasing, sell them, get your brand known, get backed by important people in your niche. And sometimes you can collaborate them, sometimes you can create content together, etc. Get your new brand related to some well-known people in the niche, and that's probably the fastest way to grow, other than different channels of marketing, of tactics of advertising tactics, etc. Just checking if there was another question. No? Okay. If you have any questions, definitely, sorry about that one. Definitely make sure to send them to support@seoleverage.com. We do these calls every Friday, as long as they need to last for at least 15-20 minutes until we have gotten through all the questions that came up in this week. Want to answer? Send us an email to support@seoleverage.com. Confirming again, next week there's not going to be a live video, there's going to be a recorded video we push on Facebook, so stay tuned. Follow us at seoleverage.com. And if you want to get ongoing SEO information, start with the top 10 tips at seoleverage.com/top10tips. And you will afterwards receive a few pieces of advice once in a while on how to improve your SEO, how to use SEO leverage for your business growth. And I also like to share once in a while some anecdotes of running an agency, running an online business, and what are the things that come up. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and see you soon.